Shake, shake yourself, your every move you make, so the story goes.
I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. You are tuned to the Big Talker 1210. We're being simulcast on MSNBC, and we're grateful for that today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And during the break, I was bragging to the mayor about this incredible Phillies win streak. Mayor, it's all of 2 games. So we're excited in Philly. They're still, of course, 6-11.
Yeah, as a Yankee fan, we just lost 3 in a row to Boston. So
that was a tough series. I watched a little bit of that.
It was a tough series. Oh.
But it could be worse. You could be a Phillies fan this season, in which case you'd be excited about 2 games. Hey, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Good luck, Michael.
And I'm thrilled to welcome you back to Philly.
Enjoy being with you very, very much.
Thank you. Yesterday, page 1, New York Times, Rudy Giuliani relative to immigration.
Right.
You know, it's interesting. I continue to see these stories where they try to present a dichotomy of 2 Rudys. You know, the Rudy who was mayor and the Rudy who's running for president. And then when you delve into the story, at least from my standpoint,
right.
They're indistinguishable.
Yeah, to get to the second page. I noticed that too. Yeah. Second page said they're pretty much the same position. Maybe a little difference in tone, but pretty much the same position.
What is your position?
My position on it is very much affected by where we are right now, which is we're in a war on terror. And there are terrorists around this world who want to come here and kill us. They succeeded, unfortunately and tragically, on September 11. They succeeded back in 1993. September 11 wasn't the first attack. So obviously, there has to be a lot of emphasis on security. So I come at it from, how do we make America more secure, or as secure as it's entitled to be? And the reality is, the answer to immigration is we need to know everybody who's in the United States. We need to know everyone in the United States from a foreign country. That is, I had 400,000 illegals in New York, roughly, when I was mayor of New York City. The Immigration Service was able to deport about 1,500 to 2,000 a year. So I figured out I have 398,000 illegals no matter what the federal government does. And I better do something sensible with them. Since I was looking at about 2,000 murders a year, I couldn't have the illegal population contributing to that.
Has this been a wake-up call for you in terms of being out on the stump? Because reading the accounts that get filed about questions that come up in forums, when someone like yourself or John McCain or Romney are out there, it appears that when the hands go in the air, illegal immigration is at the top of the list of at least Republican voters.
It's right near the top. It's not at the top of the list. Probably terrorism, Iraq, Iran. Those are probably still the ones that are dominating 60, 70% of what you're asked. But the reality is, as an offshoot of that, this works. And that's why it's not amnesty. And then they have to read, write, speak, and understand English as a strict requirement of becoming a citizen of the United States.
How difficult is it for Rudy Giuliani to be viable in Republican primaries, meaning to appeal to the conservative forces within our party, but maintain his viability for a general? And you know from our prior conversations, I'm a big tent guy on social issues, like you can speak for yourself, like I think you are. I'm someone who thinks we need to be welcoming of those who are pro-choice, welcoming of those who are pro-gay rights, welcoming of those who are in favor of stem cell research, and be willing to say that the Shivo situation was a mistake. And at the same time, be tough on illegal immigration and national defense.
Well, it's not hard. I mean, you just tell people what you think, and sometimes it breaks down on one side, sometimes it breaks down on another of an issue, sometimes it's in the middle of an issue. You let people decide that, and you pretty much be yourself. And there are things that has to be looked at from the point of view of terrorism. We're at risk. Our borders are one of the ways in which, we're at risk. So you better find a way to deal with those borders. And even the idea of a situation where people, pay taxes, pay penalties, and then have to read, write, and speak English. Having a program like that to deal with the illegals so that they're not given amnesty is a way of making us more secure. Because if you keep that list so great, so large, and you have the Immigration and Naturalization Service spending as much time trying to search for the guy working in a restaurant as they are the guy who's planning to use a bomb, then you have an insecure situation.
You take a state like my home state of Pennsylvania, where the president failed to carry it in either the 2000 or 2004 election. And right now, the most recent polling data suggests that either you or John McCain would defeat Barack Obama or Hillary Rodham Clinton. And people have called my program, or media members have called me, and they've said, how can that be? If the president's approval rating is so low, how can Rudy Giuliani be running ahead of the pack? My answer is that people perceive you to be tough on national security, but very appealing to moderates who are largely suburbanites on those social issues that we were just discussing.
I think there's a whole complex of views, but I do think that, from a political point of view, that I probably have the best chance of putting states like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Washington, Oregon, California in play. And if, as a Republicans, we don't put those states in play next time, and we don't reshuffle the deck.
The Virginia Tech shooting. Some are surprised that there hasn't been an outcry for more gun control legislation. And what I took note of, Mayor, is the fact that had the federal law been adhered to, this guy would never have received a weapon because of his history of mental illness. But offer us some thoughts on Virginia Tech as a former
I think
prosecutor.
probably there's a lot of complexity to this issue, and that's why you haven't seen it kind of